Hi, I'm Andy. I'm from the UM Sport team and I'm going to take you through some movement series, this one focusing on legs and hips. This can be added to your existing exercise routine or great for just a daily movement practice. You want to hold each exercise for about 30 seconds or 4 or 5 deep breaths. The first exercise is lunges, so you want to make sure you take a nice big step. The knee is tracking over the toes. You push your hip forward and engage your glutes. And to increase the stretch, raise your arms overhead and just hold that position and feel the stretch in the front of your hip. And when you're ready, you want to swap legs and get into the same position. Knee over toes, engage the glutes, push that hip forward, feel the stretch. If you do raise your arms overhead, careful not to arch your spine like I've just done. Keep your core engaged and maintain that stretch in the front of your hip flexor. The next exercise is a progression from the lunge. You're going to also work the hip flexor and the quad. So in a lunge, you're going to use your opposite hand to grab your opposite foot and pull it towards your glutes, whilst maintaining that engaged core and pushing your hip forward. You should really feel the stretch down the front of your leg and in your hip flexor. When you're ready, swap legs and do the same again. Feel free to have a move around while you're in any of these stretches. Find the best position, shift your feet around, just give things a try, hold them stretches, and nice deep breaths while you're stretching. This next stretch is great for people who are sitting down all day. Really opens up the front of the leg and the hip. From a kneeling position, you want to put your foot, knee and shin up against the flat surface anywhere around the house, door frame, wall, sofa. And then you want to push back into the stretch with the planted foot, maintain a solid core, engage your glutes. To alter the stretch slightly, put your hands down and then drive that hip towards the ground. You'll feel the stretch slightly differently. This is quite an advanced stretch and some people may find this quite challenging. So you can start by putting your knee a bit further away from the flat surface, but build up to it slowly. It's a really good stretch. Next exercise is deep lunges. On your hands and knees, you want to make sure your shoulders are directly over your wrists, your fingers are spread, and your knees are directly under your hips. You can then push up into a downward dog, push your alternate heels towards the floor, just to open up your calves and hamstrings a bit before the movement. Take a big step forward and place the foot next to your hand, Try and get as deep as possible, really sit into that lunge. If you shift the weight onto the outside of your foot and try and drop your elbow to the floor, it will increase the stretch and help open up those hips. A way to progress this stretch is to, when you're in the lunge, if you push the floor away with the opposite hand and then twist by reaching your elbow up to the sky and then opening up and reaching your hand up towards the sky. If you hold this position for a bit, you'll really feel the stretch in your groins, your hips and a bit in your back. We're now moving on to lateral lunges. You want to start in a nice wide stance. Point your toes either straight forward or pointing slightly outwards and just move from side to side. Keep those knees tracking over the toes. Don't put your hands on your knee. As I just demonstrated, try and use your legs to move into each stretch. If you can drop a bit lower. Twist your foot up to the ceiling. Try and move across and just have a go at pointing and flexing your foot to really feel the stretch. Really sit on that bent leg. Just make sure that your heel is planted at all times on your bent leg when you're leaning into this stretch. The next movement is a groin opener. You want to be on your hands and knees. You want your toes pointing outwards, legs slightly wider than hip distance. And you just want to rock backwards and forwards. Try and sit your bum back to your heels and then try and push your front of your hips down to the floor. You'll feel the stretch in different places, but it's good to just move slowly through each of those positions and just hold it for a few breaths. We're now going to do some glute stretches. This first one is a sitting glute stretch. You want to sit down with your legs out straight, cross one leg over the thigh of your straight leg and hug it in with your opposite hand. You then want to sit up tall, pull yourself straight. Sitting up straight helps maintain your core engagement. If you round your back, as I'll demonstrate, you're switching off your core and getting into a bad position, so make sure you sit up straight, look forwards, pull yourself into that knee. This is a really good movement. We're going to do a lying glute stretch similar to the one we've just done, but then move it into a bit of a hip opener by dropping the leg over to the side. Okay, lying on your back, you want to bend one knee up and then cross the other leg over that bent thigh. When you're ready, you want to drop the crossed foot over to the opposite side while trying to keep your shoulders down on the floor and try and push that knee away, and you should really feel the stretch in the front of your hip. To increase the glute stretch, you want to gently push the knee away and try and bring the bent knee towards your head. Now we're going to do a glute bridge. So you want to lie on your back, you want to move your heels close to your glutes, tilt your pelvis to make sure your lower back's in contact with the floor, engage your glutes and then drive your hips up to the ceiling. You want to squeeze at the top and repeat 8 to 10 times of 30 seconds. This next movement stretches out our hamstrings and lower back. You want to sit down on the floor, hug your knees into your chest. You then want to walk your feet away while trying to maintain your chest in contact with your thighs. Just try and hold. You don't have to get your legs straight. To target your hamstrings more, you want to try and drop your elbows to the floor, try and straighten your legs out. Or you can reach up, and fold over and try and reach your toes. This next exercise is just a simple forward bend. You're going to stand up straight, tuck your chin, fold your arms, just try and roll yourself down into a fold. And just hang there, move around. You can bend one leg, keep the other leg straight. This just alters the stretch slightly. We're now going to do some dynamic stretches. This one targets the hips, hamstrings, lower back. You're going to start by lying on the floor with your arms out to the side. Raise one leg up overhead and then try and drop it to the opposite hand. Try and keep your shoulders down on the floor. Then repeat on both sides. Bring the leg back, keeping the leg straight, drop it back to the floor and swap legs. This is our final movement, and it's basically a reverse of the last exercise. So you want to lie on your front, arms out to the side. You want to bend one leg and try and get it over to your opposite hand. Keep alternating legs for around 30 seconds or 4 or 5 reps on each side. Thanks for watching. There will be more of these movement series on the UOM Sport website and social media channels. Stay safe and stay active, and hope to see you soon.